that has never been in contact with any particular law enforcement court system. And from what I can see and what I hear out here from a lot of my Black male, and I'm sure it's common knowledge, is that because they are unfamiliar with the court system, they don't know, number one.
Traveler. Okay.
Today's courtroom hearing features a self-identified sovereign citizen who, in a somewhat unexpected twist, actually requested legal counsel. While that might seem like a step toward reason, his behavior still reflected the usual sovereign citizen rhetoric. He was pulled over for driving without a license, had a homemade license plate labeled Traveler, and resisted arrest elements that have unfortunately become common in these types of cases. This hearing gives us a closer look at how courts handle such situations and whether requesting an attorney changes the tone or outcome.
She and I have already discussed it on this case, and we just both want you to hear the PC, if we can, Judge.
Okay.
And then on the bond reinstatement as well, Judge. Right.
So officers initiated a traffic stop in Harris County, Texas for a vehicle having a fictitious plate bearing the word Traveler on it. During the stop, the defendant refused to provide...
Traveler. Okay.
During the stop, the defendant refused to provide ID or insurance information, stating, "I do not consent to this." Officer attempted to remove the defendant from the vehicle, and defendant actively resisted by pulling his arm away from deputies until he was detained.
Okay. Tell me what.
So we looked at, I'm sorry, Madam Prosecutor, the interference with duties of public servant, Your Honor. Even if my client is failing to give them that, then it is an arrestable offense. But in this situation, it is, Judge. However, in this particular situation, he didn't interfere with anything in terms of his own arrest. I can, if it was a resisting or something to that effect, I can.
They're just trying to get him out of the car.
I don't disagree.
It's classic sovereign case where got the license plate, think that traveling by right is what I think how they term it.
In this situation, Judge, and the reason I'm employing upon the court is, even from what Madam Prosecutor has seen on the video, they're pulling and tugging at his arm, which put my client in some fear. It was more than one officer. It was pretty.
But he still has a duty. If they're asking you to come out, they can lawfully do that. And there are videos, and go on YouTube, right? There are hundreds of videos where officers will literally destroy your car to get you out. When you get into a pissing match with a person who has the power of arrest, who's going to win, Mr. Daly?
We don't disagree, Your Honor.
Right. You know what I mean? That's real life.
We don't disagree, Your Honor. I think under the circumstances of what actually happened, it was not Mr. Daly's position to resist or to interfere. That was not. He was concerned for his safety at that point. And actually, I don't know, did you hear that on the video? Right. And so in reviewing the video, it was pretty quick, pretty brash. They didn't give him an opportunity to respond per the prosecutor. In this situation, it wasn't as if he was intentionally.
Remember, this is just a mere probable cause.
Yes,
so
I agree.
They ask you to come out of the car one time. Yeah, it's really so. I mean, I think that there's enough probable cause to go forward now. The problem is, Mr. Daly, is that we revoke your bond. Your bond is set at 2501, and you've continually failed to appear. So, the case and the way that you've treated us, it shows me that you just refuse to accept authority. How are we supposed to deal with that? How do we deal with that, Timberland?
Your Honor, the only reason I bring to your attention is I asked the court to take into consideration, we have a Black male works every day who, and I hate to put that on the court, but I do in this particular climate, that has never been in contact with any particular law enforcement court system. And from what I can see and what I hear out here from a lot of my Black male, and I'm sure it's common knowledge, is that because they are unfamiliar with the court system, they don't know, number one. Number two, when they do come in contact with police, and my mother is assistant chief of police, so I can understand, even when I was younger, I was taught that there are certain things that you have to do with when a police officer even stop you on a speeding ticket. What we don't know is whenever these officers come up, when you're somebody who don't have the privilege of having a police officer as a parent, or who isn't familiar and is being raised in this particular climate and seeing what they see on TV and seeing what they hear and everything that has occurred, you don't know what the proper steps are. I was trained from when I was grown up what you do. I'm not saying that what he did was right or wrong. I'm not saying that how he reacted to this particular court, it is wrong. However, I'm employing upon the court to ask the court to take into a little bit of consideration, number one, from his perspective.
Are you serious right now? My attorney is actually trying to play the race card, and honestly, that's not even the most confusing part of what she's doing. Instead of focusing on the legal issues, it feels like she's coddling me more than representing me. Like she's trying to shield me from the consequences instead of building a solid defense. It's honestly hard to tell if she's acting as my lawyer or something more personal. It's that strange. And then she argues that the police didn't have probable cause. I mean, they pulled me over, asked me to step out, and I had a traveler tag on my car instead of a legal plate. Whether I agree with their authority or not, claiming they had no cause feels like a stretch, especially in front of Judge Furr, who isn't known for being lenient. The way this is being handled doesn't sit right with me. Skipping court shouldn't be brushed off, and relying on broad defenses like discrimination without clear proof feels like the wrong approach. I need a strategy grounded in facts, not distractions. Let's head back into the hearing and see how this all plays out.
All defendants, can't just say this, but I do see that, from what I've known from this particular case and now in talking to him, I do believe that there is a sense of sometimes they just don't know. Sometimes they just don't. So I'm asking to reinstate his PR bond. I am now on the case. What you know about me, I'm a tight attorney. I run a tight ship. So, and by which of way I believe I can reach him and getting him to court and resolving this matter, which is what I talked to the prosecutor about when you were on break. It's like, let's just resolve this. Let's take care of this.
I'll buy it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
I'm not going to do this again, though. I promise you. I don't care whoever you have. If you flake on us again, that's 3 times. It's out. I'm not going to do it again. Do you understand, Mr. Daly? I mean, when you come to court, good things happen. When you don't show up and you continually do it, you can't expect good things to happen. Now, do you have a Texas driver's license?
Not right now.
You're not allowed to drive.
Right.
You have a bond condition and you've signed an affidavit with me today promising you're not going to drive. I don't care how you term it. Driving, traveling, however you're going to word it, whatever you do not get into the driver's seat of an automobile, a motorcycle, anything with a combustible engine where you can get on the road unless you have approval from us. Do you understand? I don't care that you have to work. I don't care if you have to go to church. I don't care if you're going to a funeral. I don't care if you're going to wherever it may be. Do not drive. Do you understand? Heed this warning. You're not going to get another one. Okay, Timberlane, I'll reinstate the bond.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I'll talk to her. We were going to try to talk to Chief, but it's pretty busy today.
I think the case is only 3 months old,
Yes,
so you've got time. You can do whatever you want.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Judge.
Because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance. You don't have to waste your time coming to court now, but you must stay in touch with her and she'll tell you when you got to come back to court. If she comes back and tells me she can't get a hold of you because you're playing games or you've gone AWOL or whatnot, or you get arrested for something else, all bets off. We good? I'm not asking for much, man. Really. And for future reference, when you get into a pissing match with someone with the power of arrest, you are nearly always going to lose. It's just the way it works. And as a young Black man in today's society, you got to be extra special careful because things can go really wrong really quick. And there's evidence of that over and over and over.
Shul? This might be a hot take, but honestly, I'm disappointed Judge Fleur didn't come down harder on this guy. I'm not saying every sovereign citizen needs the maximum sentence. But let's be real, this guy skipped court, resisted arrest like it was a sport, and drove around with a license plate that looked like it was made on Microsoft Paint. In most situations, missing court alone can lead to serious consequences, contempt charges, bench warrants, the whole deal. Add resisting arrest on top of that, and you've got a case that practically begs for a tougher sentence. But instead, he gets what basically amounts to a slap on the wrist. Now let's talk about the attorney. I don't know her, but the way she hovered over him, some might call it nurturing, but to me it felt unprofessional. At one point, I had to wonder, was this his lawyer or his mom? She pulled out the race card too, and honestly, I don't think that applies here. I'm not trying to be insensitive, but the facts just don't back it up. The guy had a fake plate that said traveler and skipped his court date. That's not bias, that's bad decisions. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Was Judge Fleur too lenient? Was that attorney way too involved? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And as always, if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like and subscribe for more wild court cases like this. Thanks for watching. Take care, everyone.